Okay. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode two of Coffee Before Claims, the podcast. With your hosts, me and
me.
Sammy J and Tuck. So this is our second channel. This is our podcast channel. You guys might know already. We already put out one episode before the birth of our daughter.
Finley magic.
And now this is after. So we're lucky we caught that right before, because basically everything you think about life changes in one day.
And we weren't. Well, actually, I was claiming that she was going to come early. I had a feeling, which that intuition was right. But she came before her due date, obviously. So this is the postpartum podcast.
Yeah, so she was due August 6th, and she came on the 30th of July. 2:16 p.m. Perfect baby.
Perfect baby. But, you know, she blew me out in every way possible. But it's okay, because she's perfect.
But, yeah, so this is awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching the first episode. We got so much positive comments and just so much positivity back from that we're definitely going to continue this series. And we're just going to try to be as real as we can, because that's what people like to see, is just real life stories and real life situations. So I'm going to talk on this, but I don't want to take up too much time, more than I need to, because this is mostly about Sammy. Obviously, I changed as a person and I went through it with her, but she and the mother of all children in the world are the ones who bear the brunt of childbirth. So let's get into it. Start from, I guess, when your water broke, or
Like when I didn't know my water broke. It's really going out to breakfast.
give us just a run through of the starting that day.
Okay, so that day,
We went to Earthly Cafe.
we did go to Earthly Cafe. I was feeling heavy like the day before that, like a little bit heavier, like down there, but nothing to write home about. So got up that day, felt heavy. We ended up going to Earthly Cafe for breakfast because that's our favorite spot. And at the at the cafe, we always sit outside unless there's a lot of people sitting out there, and I got the same thing. I always get the breakfast bowl with vegan sausage and cheddar, and I couldn't eat like I normally do, so I had to sit because I was in I was uncomfortable. So I put the bowl on my stomach and was eating like that, which I never really had to do before. So that was strange. That day, was that before? Did my mucus plug come out before we went to Earthly Cafe? Oh my God, I don't even remember.
No, I think it came
When we got back, maybe? No, you know what? It was before that. All right,
yeah, it was before. It was like 9 a.m. So this is like the 29th of July.
Yeah, so
9 a.m. in the morning.
All right, so okay, before, you should just tell this, but before we went to Earthly Cafe, I was going to the bathroom and I looked down in the toilet and there was this little mucusy red blob. It looked like flubber, and I was like, oh shit, I think that's my mucus plug. So that was whatever. It wasn't anything crazy. But then I just was bleeding a little. It was light pink throughout the day. Nothing that was alarming to me. So I was just switching out pads all day. But I was also getting cramps throughout the day. And I've never been, full pregnancy before. So it's I just thought that was normal. I was like, oh, well, I'm getting closer to the due date, so this has to be just something that every pregnant woman goes through. So I just toughed through it the whole day, but the cramps kept getting worse and worse. And I ended up finding out that they were contractions, and I just didn't realize that because I thought contractions were only, down there, but they're not. So the contractions were like a really gnarly menstrual cramp. And I ended up caving in at like 11 o'clock at night, calling one of my doctors. And he was like, yeah, sounds like your water broke. You should definitely get over to the emergency room, like now. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, so we figured, like, because everybody was telling us, wait a couple hours after your water breaks if you can, and then go to the hospital. But this was like 14 hours in between. And I'm sure everybody has a different experience because that's life and everybody's body's different. So people do give birth a lot quicker after their water breaks than others. But yeah, I was worried about getting to the hospital, but we literally could have drove to like South Carolina from here and still she wouldn't have given birth, which is crazy because when I was thinking of childbirth in my uneducated in that area head, like I just knew nothing about it basically. I thought water breaks, you rush to the hospital, like this is what they show in movies.
Yeah.
And then you give birth in like 2 or 3 hours. Not water breaks, wait 14 hours, rush to the hospital, and wait another 12 hours until the baby actually comes. So I was not understanding the full immensity of how actually insane and hard on your body that giving birth is.
No, yeah. I didn't even, because so I went into this pregnancy completely blind. Like, I didn't read any books. I mean, the closer I got to the due date, I started, like, with, like, symptoms, like, certain things that I was like, man, this is a little bit weird. I would, look stuff up on Google. Of course, I'm one of those people. But ignorance is bliss to me. And so ignorance is bliss to me. And I just think that if I were to have gotten super crazy with, like, people's opinions, I would have had really high anxiety throughout my whole pregnancy, which I was happy. The whole pregnancy was, like, the best.
So she was getting these crazy cramps that she thought were like some kind of period related, not period related, but like kind of similar to period cramps in the beginning. But she was getting full contractions for like multiple hours before we actually went to the hospital. So when we showed up, we realized like she's probably going to be in labor. Like they brought us into the maternity ward, like a closed unit in the hospital. So like the staff there basically already knew that she was going, but we didn't have any idea. So once we got there, we were still wondering what was going on. And then they were like, yeah, it's going down. Like you're in labor basically. So, I mean, how did it feel from once they put you in there?
Oh, that's what I was saying. Wow. I thought, like, pregnancy brain would go away, but, like, apparently I have, like, postpartum brain. But, okay, so I was saying, like, I went into the pregnancy. I said blind, but that's a bad way to put it. I didn't go into it blind. I just didn't want to get crazy because when you get crazy, it's just, like, it's just super unnecessary. And I listened to my doctors and my doctors only because those are the people who actually knew what was going on with me, my baby, and my body. And everything was perfect, and it was perfect. So going to the hospital, and I didn't want to know. I didn't, like, look up, like, birthing videos either. I didn't want to see what it looked like because then I'd be, like, in my head. And thank God I didn't. Because I ended up seeing it when they brought the mirror down, and I told them I didn't want to see anything. I just wanted her to come out, but that happened.
These eyes will never be the same.
Yeah. So we got there. I didn't know. I didn't know that the cramps, I just thought that was literally like normal. Like, okay, she's pressing down on my bladder. Obviously, I'm going to have cramps. Which she was 8 pounds and 3 ounces, so it makes sense. My uterus was like, help. So we got there. We went to the emergency room, but then they redirected us to. It wasn't the emergency room. It was like the entrance.
Yeah, it was the ER. Like,
Oh my god, I thought that was gonna break. You gotta tighten this.
where's your mouth gonna be? Like right there.
Yeah, right there is perfect. So then I don't have to lean down. Technical difficulties.
Just make sure that the mic's like over this part.
Perfect.
Yeah, they put her in like this wheelchair type of thing. Which it was like a wheelchair, but it wasn't. I don't know. But and then brought us in the elevator, brought us right up through like the staff elevators, and then they put us in the room. And well, Sammy didn't see the outside of that hospital ward for the next 3 days.
Yeah,
I was in and out because I had to go back to the house, feed the cats, do stuff like that. But luckily, I was able to be there when she was taken to the hospital. Well, I took her there and be there for basically like 98% of everything and fully for the birth of Finley. So I don't think that all dads get to experience that. So I'm super, super lucky. And I'll never forget that in my whole life. And when she took her first breath.
That was like the craziest thing, and like I don't even think I like looked at her when they handed her to me. I was just like holding her and like crying.
Which we do have on film.
Yeah.
I think that video is probably going to be out before this one. But it was so scary because the doctors were saying that if she doesn't breathe right away, they're going to have to put her on some machine. And that's just so sad to think about for other people that happened to. But it didn't happen to Finley. But I was just so relieved when she started breathing because once you cut the umbilical cord, that's the only way that they can get oxygen is from breathing, obviously.
Yeah, so it's so crazy because I fully wasn't like a kid person. I'm still not really a kid person. Like I don't really like kids or babies, but I love Finley. And as most of you probably already know, like this wasn't a planned pregnancy. I honestly wasn't. We weren't planning on having kids, so just putting that out there. I never even thought I'd be married, so it's crazy because, I mean, even though I still don't like babies, just Finley, I do have more empathy for parents and the, what would the word be? I was going to say like protectiveness, but that's not even a word.
For mothers, mainly.
For mothers, mainly like the feeling, it's, because there's just crazy things that you see on TV and stuff like that. And now, like, obviously, we both have a lot of empathy for, like, cats and animals because, humans suck, honestly. But now we both have a different perspective on that. So we get to the hospital. And they redirected us to the actual emergency room. They took me up in the wheelchair, and we got to the room. Oh, sorry, sure, I'm going to have to be honest about this. So it was, like, empty. There was nobody in there, right? They said somebody will be in there with you, whatever. So I was still getting these crazy, like, menstrual, like, cramps. And I was kind of, like, not, like, I guess I was limping, kind of. But it was not as crazy as I would expect, being that I was literally in labor all day. Not labor, having contractions all day. So, finally the nurse comes in. That was Sarah, right? Oh.
I mean, you just don't say any names or anything.
Okay. The nurse came in.
I mean, you can. It's just...
The first nurse came in. I really liked her. And it's weird because, like, I don't even remember what happened, but I just remember the room.
It's just so much different than you think because they all know how long you're going to be there, and you have no idea. On your first child, I'm sure people who have multiple kids, they know because they've done it. But, like, I was like, what's going on here? Where is everybody? Where's the doctor?
It was, like, empty.
But they were just, like, business as usual because they knew that she was going to be there all night into the whole next day and the whole next day after that. So, like, nobody was rushing around because it doesn't just happen like that quick. You have to work.
And I'm sure they treat first timers different than people who've already had a child before, baby before, like 2 or 3. Because they know when you're coming in, like if it's your first baby, I'm pretty sure.
They know.
Well,
they asked.
So I would just assume that they treat you differently by, like, not saying certain things to freak you out, kind of beating around the bush when you ask them questions so that, your anxiety doesn't go through the roof. I kind of sensed that. And that kind of gave me more anxiety than them being actually, like, straightforward with me. But.
And not to, like, freak out anybody. Well, most of our audience is older, and they definitely
have kids or grandkids.
Have kids or even grandkids or even great-grandkids at this point.
Yeah.
Possibly some of the people that view us. So, I mean, this probably won't freak that many people out. But what I didn't realize, too, because we're in 2022, and with the technology and just the medical care and everything that you think that it's so safe. Like, oh, people have babies every day. What I didn't personally realize is every time somebody gives birth, it's literally life or death. And it's absolutely terrifying for your wife to be on a hospital table in that situation, and you literally don't know what's going to happen. They don't just have you hooked up to all those monitors because they think it's fun. They have you hooked up to that stuff because
they need to monitor your heart
and die.
Yeah, they need to monitor your life, pretty much. Which that's why I went into it blind, because I kind of already knew. Like I knew that giving birth wasn't going to be that was going to be the hardest part.
The hardest part is yet to come. Not physically.
I'm saying physically, not emotionally. Because I've never done that, never done it before, but I knew it was serious, and it was a wild experience, and I don't know how women do it more than once, but I guess they say you forget. I mean, I can't even remember what happened when we walked into the first room, because they switched us out a few times into different rooms.
Yeah, we started in the regular room, which I would call like a recovery room, because I guess they didn't know for sure. And then we went into the delivery room, and that was actually bigger in there, and it had more medical stuff, and like the heat warming table and stuff for her, which I was like, oh great.
What is it?
Like there was like a heat lamp, like what you would put over like baby chickens.
Was there?
Yeah, and they put her under it right away. Well, not right away, but after you held her there, they put her under it. They and they put a hat on her because I guess babies,
which we kept. It's right over there.
Babies get cold, I guess, when they come out because they're used to just being in like 98-degree weather. Which go outside right now, they'll be you'd be comfortable. The other thing is everything in life you have to learn, but this being a parent is not like a hobby, so it's so much more scary. It's like when you start skateboarding for the first time, you're gonna fall down, but like you don't care because you can just get up. But like being a parent for the first time, you're gonna fall down, but it's so much. There's so much more at stake than just hurting your elbow or skinning your knee. I don't know. It's gnarly. Like there's no way. I don't know because I didn't prepare myself with reading tons of things and looking into everything about being a parent, but there's not really a way to prepare yourself for them to just be like, okay, we've done what we could. You seem healthy. Here's your kid. Your discharge. Like, it wasn't that simple. Obviously, the discharging takes a while, and they make sure everything's good. But then they give you, like, well, you already have your kid, but then you take your kid, and that's it. Then, like, you can call somebody, but, like, you'd have to check yourself back into the emergency room. It's not like you just have somebody there checking your vitals, checking her vitals, you know what I mean? Making sure everything's okay, telling you what to do, not to do. You just have this baby now that's only a few days old, and that's your responsibility. And
Let me
that's the
just gonna
instinct.
check on her really quick.
That's the instinct that kicks in because you know that you're responsible 100% for this human, and they're only a few days old. And wow, it's gnarly. What's she looking like in there? Huh? She's happy. She's smiling. If she wakes up, we'll just bring her in. All right, we had to check on Finn.
She's good. She's good.
She's good, but yeah, what I was saying is, once they, you leave the hospital, nothing is real in the first couple of days because you're so exhausted and scared, and every emotion is coming over you, and there's so much adrenaline, fear, happiness, excitement that you don't really comprehend reality until like a couple of days into it. But then I think that's the parenthood thing. It comes over you, and you will die to protect this human. You do anything to make sure that baby and that human is okay. And I'm sure everybody who's a parent feels the same way. And if you don't, I don't know. That's wild. But like, I get it. So no longer do you live for the same things anymore. And I could see how not having children, you would be a different person. You're a different person. It changes you at like a molecular level almost. Like your entire DNA feels different.
No, yeah, you're not as selfish. Not that we were really selfish before, but it's like really instinctive. Like it's just I don't even know how to explain it. But like now it's like as long as Finley's okay, then I'm okay. We're okay. Like she's literally all that matters. Besides the babies, of course. The Kikis.
Wow. Butters, our cat that we rescued earlier this summer, is literally a surrogate mother to Finley.
I call her familiar. Like she just is always like around her and she's so gentle with her. It's really bizarre. Like Butters always attacks our feet. I call them piggies. Like if they're under the blanket at night. And she'll be laying with Finley and Finley's little toes will be kicking, but Butters doesn't go for him. She just lays right with her. She'll put her head on her. It's really amazing to watch that like little bond between them actually.
Is that the hat?
Yeah, this is the hat that
I'm not going to try to act like it's the first one because the one that they put on her when she was born somehow ended up getting thrown out or something.
Okay, so it was it was the same one as this, but it got blood on it and the nurse didn't know. I guess most people a lot of people just bring their own stuff. But and like a lot of people are like, you need this, you need to bring that, make sure you have this. But the reality is you don't really need to bring anything but yourself to the hospital. They provide you with maybe not the best stuff, but they provide you with what you need at the moment until you leave the hospital. A
lot of the older people, though, that watch us had commented and been like, you're not going to need any of that stuff. So, like, a lot of people did already know.
And to be honest, I didn't. Because half of the stuff that I bought that was in that birth bag, I didn't even use. Like, I was in so much pain. Like, I guess maybe if you're on to your, like, second, third, fourth, and you're just like a G when you walk in and your shit's already blown out, so it's just easy for you, maybe then it's like, okay, like, you know what you're doing and it's more comfortable for you. But I just was so out of it and in so much pain. And I'm still in pain, but it's not as crazy as it was directly after the birth.
And so many things could go wrong during pregnancy. Like, well, up to the birth too, but during the birth, that everybody there, because they need to, that's a professional way to be, actually nothing's going on. Like, nothing's wrong because so many things could go wrong. And she had blood in her urine at one point, and they were just like, oh, she could have an infection. She could have this. And I was literally freaking out. But everybody else was like, nah, it's fine. Like everything was fine until it's not. But for me, that's my whole life. So there's no way to put into words how terrifying pregnancy can be for the dad. And obviously but you're the one in the situation. So you're just like full instinct kicking in. I was actually able to think about it. And I'm like, this is the difference between a beautiful life and no life, like depression for the rest of my life.
Well, if I'm being honest, I was a little suspicious, a little suspect of whether that was even true. There's blood in the urine because it's losing so much blood. Oh, there's my chicken. Yeah, go and get the chicken. But because then directly after that, they were claiming that, they're, trying to push a C-section, really. And at that point, I was so desperate to get Finley out because I was in so much pain. I was actually considering it, which I'm glad now that I didn't, cave in. I don't think if I was I want a C-section right now, they would even do it, but I'm not sure. But there's a lot of things that happened. I don't know if we should talk about it on here.
Get up to the mic. Show them what you got.
Oh, she's a milk monster.
Go ahead. Tell them how you feel.
She's like the lights. Where's my chicken?
This is how she sleeps.
Are you sitting?
She's so mad.
She looks like she's going.
She might just poop right now. You want to hold her?
Come here.
So she sleeps in a swaddle thing? I got her. She sleeps just like that, tied up in a straitjacket, basically, because everything's just so scary. You'd rather just have her there, unable to move, basically. And if she needs something, she can just cry for you. Which, she cries a decent amount, but she's a really good baby so far. We're just here. We're present for her at every moment, basically. I don't know. It's just babies are so easy to love. There's not much to it. It's just unconditionally, my whole heart is now you.
I love her so much it hurts. She's trying to suck on my...
But I don't know when this is going to be online, but she's 6 days old. That's it. Today, right now. At 2 o'clock, she was 6 days old. It's 4 o'clock. But...
So... Yeah, she wants to feed.
We're going to feed now. But maybe we'll get back into it in a minute.
Yeah, a little break.
But we got to break this up for a second, and then we're going to take 5 guys. So just bear with us on this. This is week 1 of Parenthood, so it's getting heavy.
Yeah, she wants to go food. All right, we're going to get the nippies out. Come on, girl. Oh, come here.
All right, so we had to do our duties as parents now. Officially parents. But she woke up. She had to get changed. She had to do her duties. She cried a little bit, and she needed some breast milk. So now that that's settled,
we out here
eating our lactation cookies. That's how we do it.
These lactation cookies are so good. I saw them. They're oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, but they don't taste like oatmeal. They're made by Munchkin Milk Makers. It says lactation cookies. Coincidentally, when I started eating these, my milk was coming in hot. So, I don't know. They could have contributed to that, or it could just be a huge coincidence. But either way, they're really fun to eat. And since I'm going to be breastfeeding for a while now, because I haven't given her formula all day. Did you notice that?
I did.
You did. So wow, she's just getting extra food.
No, when you were out, she freaking woke up and I had no choice.
That's true, because sometimes when Turner's doing skin to skin, she'll be like, try and suck on his nipple. It's so funny to watch. But then it gets so sad, when she gets like that, in my head, I don't think oh, let me go grab the formula. It's all right, let me take my bra off. Cause,
she definitely likes the breast milk.
Yeah, you can tell, and it makes me sad because not like sad. I don't know how to explain it because it's like a bittersweet feeling. I'm like, ugh.
The only thing they
In the middle
said
of the
was
night, I'm
like,
like, I don't feel like doing this, but then it's like, I just tough through it because I know she likes it more. So
the only thing they said is like, there's not as much vitamin D in the breast milk, so they give you like extra vitamin D.
yeah, they prescribed me vitamin D, which I have to pick up today actually, because CVS was playing yesterday. Because she said she sent it over. Summers Point CVS pharmacy, get your together.
That's, I mean, if they didn't call it in.
She did call it in though, and they were taking selfies when I went there. So like, I don't really understand that.
I hear.
I hear my stinky finky.
So for those of us who don't know how it feels to breastfeed, is that your Jimmy Jam now?
It's my Jimmy Jam. It's a part of my life now. Like, never thought I'd be breastfeeding. It's like, wow, my boobs produce milk now. It's crazy. How it feels. Honestly,
I mean, when you have her going on one tit, the pump on the other, and everything going on, it's basically like the scene from Mad Max.
that's so disrespectful, honestly. That's the only part of Mad Max that I remember. I'm not even going to lie, is the lady, she was in a moo or whatever it was, the creature in the moo. That's how I picture it. Like goblin looking thing with the...
And they're just drinking, like the grown men, like the people that run
I
Bartertown.
don't feel like that thing from Mad Max, but that's so disturbing.
Because like there was no animals around to eat it, so they would just have like the people just like pumping milk, and then like the people drinking it as if it was a specialty, like a delicacy for the end of times.
That's hilarious, actually.
I mean, it honestly is though. Could you imagine if you were starving and you could just get breast milk on the spot?
That's true.
Because it has all the nutrients you would ever need.
That's why humans just procreated, because they're like, well, let's make some milk. So, how it feels, I don't know. It doesn't hurt like, it's not comfortable. You know, it's not comfortable by any means, but it's not the worst feeling. I don't know. I guess it's just when you're producing the breast milk and that's what your baby wants. How it feels for me personally is like irrelevant. I don't even really, I'm just like, yeah, this isn't the best feeling all the time. Now it doesn't really hurt as much anymore, but it's not the best feeling in the world, like at 2 a.m. when you just want to sleep and you're exhausted. But the fact that she needs it and she does this little like, like a little animal, it like literally breaks my heart when she does that. It fills my heart, but it breaks it at the same time. Cause I'm like, all right, let me get my top off and get her what she needs so that she can, cause like she'll do that and then she'll calm down. She'll be like, like this, like sigh of relief. Yeah. And it's just the best feeling in the world.
And then she falls asleep and then you can't move for like 7 hours.
Yeah. Or she'll wake up and then she'll start hysterically crying. But now it's only 6 days in, but we're starting to pick up on her little habits. Like she's already forming. So like we're starting to understand her baby language is what I'm trying to say.
And her baby language is, let me just eat a little bit, but basically just sleep all day, take a couple poops, and then when like 11 p.m. rolls around, then I'll get up and start getting crazy.
This is true, but this is half our fault too, because like I think that we do
11 p.m. Did I say a.m.?
We need to start having a little bit of like a routine with her. Obviously, we're still figuring it out, but I think that's the way to do it. I think it's easier when they get older though to like tire them out during the day because like she can't do anything really unless we do something with her. Do you know what I mean? But when they're kids, it's like kids, you can tire kids out a little bit more easily. Babies just sleep, poop, and eat.
I guess also, like, when people say fact is stranger than fiction, they ain't kidding. Because when, I don't know, I've looked up a placenta online before, and people eat them. But, oh my gosh. When I saw that, I mean, You know what? If
I was
anybody
talking
wants to
about
eat a
it.
placenta, it's good, really, really, really good for you. So hats off. Whatever, cook it up, put it on a bun. I don't know. But after seeing that thing, there was no way that I was eating that placenta.
I feel like I missed out on so much during my pregnancy, like
She
my
didn't even
labor,
get to see
because
it.
I didn't see it. I just so when I was actually I still don't understand what the term labor means. Like I was in labor for however long,
That's
but
why.
I was pushing for 5 hours.
That's why when you post on Craigslist and you put like labor job, like that's what it's based off of. Like this is going to hurt you. Like come
But
like
I'm
labor,
saying,
the
what
term.
part is labor? Guys, don't judge me. I'm being serious when I ask this question.
To be honest, I don't know because like your water broke. Is that
So
like are you about to
that's
be? Are you
in
in
labor.
labor?
So like technically I was in like labor isn't when you're pushing though. Like I was straight pushing for 5 hours.
Yeah, and honestly, whatever stuff happens at the hospital, like it wasn't a perfect transition from like she's giving birth and then like the baby's here, but I will say like shout out to the nurse that was there. We got switched. Whatever the doctors and nurses switched because like the shift switched because we were there for so long, but she did. I will say above everything else that happened there, force a natural labor and basically was saying like, okay, she was only in labor for this long. The first like hour and a half was her practicing to make it seem like it wasn't so long, but it was really, really long. And in a different situation, there is a possibility that they would have like forced us or tried to encourage us into doing like the C-section, which if that's the best way, then that's the best way. And if that's the safest way to do it, I would have been down with it because they're the doctors. I'm not. But they kind of did just like basically encourage her, even though the baby was stuck. I mean, Finley's like head was visible after like an hour of pushing, but her head did not move for 2 hours after that. And then when it did finally start to come, it was like 4 hours in. And then her head came out and the umbilical cord was like a cross. So the doctor cut it like right away. And I did get to cut it, but I didn't like cut the initial umbilical cord. She was already breathing. So that's kind of like a cliche type of thing. Like I'd let the dad cut the umbilical cord. It was cool that I got to do it, even though it was already cut. But at the same time, I was just like so happy that the doctor just took the initiative and got that thing out from her neck and then just wiggled her out. Because your head's the biggest part of your body when you're born. I didn't really think about that. So that's why they transitioned down. Because like think if your legs and everything were coming out and your head was just stuck in there, it'd be worse. So once they get the head out, it's just like
That was the big head.
that was a crazy operation.
It was crazy. I saw a little bit differently. I mean, yeah, the nurse was there, but
You felt it a little differently.
I felt it a little differently. But there was like some confusion with whether to, because the nurse, the whole 4 hours was telling me to breathe in through my mouth. And then the last hour when the doctor actually came in, she told me to breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth.
Finley's head is like this big. So like imagine that
Her head's not that
coming
big.
out of your butthole. As a guy, like honestly, not even because like your butt's meant to push stuff out big,
No. Because
and then just tearing, like just the whole thing just.
I was confused
just
too, because
tearing.
like if I was pushing for 5 hours, see, like this is why I guess I shouldn't have gone into it blind. But when you're in the moment and I was in so much pain, I was just relying on the nurse and the doctor that wasn't there until the last hour to, help me out. Like, cause I didn't know what was going on, but that kind of bothered me because I still don't know. Were you supposed to breathe through your nose, out through your mouth, or in through your mouth, out through your nose? It's just so wild that was confusion. And then the nurse was telling me to, because she was the only one in the room besides Turner for 4 hours. Maybe somebody would cut, the lady who was, they had a term for it that was to take care of Finley when she came out, was coming in and out, and they would like talk to each other and whisper. I don't know, but because I remember that. but the nurse was telling me to not push up, and then the last hour the doctor was telling me to push up. So to get Finley out. So that's something that I think was extremely crucial in my, whole birthing process. So that's something, I mean, I'm glad Finley came out healthy and I'm glad that I'm still alive, but and for some reason I have this intuition that it could have went a lot smoother than it did.
It could have gone so much worse too.
Yeah, it could have. But, and I'm wondering, because people talk about like making like an incision instead of tearing. I'm wondering if that could have been avoided too, because I did tear bad.
An incision?
Not like a cut in your, what is it, a perineal? I call it taint, but whatever.
They would need some long scissors to make an incision that long.
See, I still didn't even look at my actual like
I mean, it's not even funny, but like the amount of stitches the doctor put in after
she
was mind blowing.
Because they had this mirror that they brought down. I was saying this in the beginning of this video, but I didn't really want to see. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I want to see the baby's head." I didn't want to see. I could feel what was going on. I didn't want to see what was going on, but I ended up looking up, which was a mistake. And there was a lot of blood. I lost a lot of blood. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't see the placenta, but it's okay.
Oh,
should I grab my
she's
chicken?
Waking up. Should I get her?
I'll get her. And a diaper change.
All right, so now that we got the Finsta. Finley. All right, so her name, I don't know. We've gone over so much, but her name is Finley Magic Grave. The first. And only.
The first and only.
The only one of our children.
Yeah.
So far. But we could open this up. You want to check this out?
I would like to check that out.
All right, so we got a gift from one of our friends who was actually a friend of the Leanne photo printer. They have a company too, and they saw our review. And it was a friend of the girl who works for that company. So they sent, it's Zoy. Zoy. Zoyzoi. And this is the Desert Series backpack for Finley. So we're going to check this out right now.
I'm actually excited to see this.
So we got this. This will be like one of our sponsors for our podcast, and also for Finley to have something really cool that they sent her, and also for people to check out their products. So
the Desert Series, Zoy.
So they let us pick a couple of these from their site.
Battery low, turned off.
It's all right. So here it is. Let's do it, right?
These are taped.
Ooh.
Oh, a box in a box.
Ooh.
Put this down. Look, she's side-eyeing it, though.
She's checking it out. She's checking it out.
She really is looking at it. She's going.
Here, let me get it.
Oh, yeah. What's this?
Are you side-eyeing it, Fan?
When you're pulling it out, she was side-eyeing it.
Fan? She's side-eyeing it right now.
Yeah, she is. What's that, Mamas?
Oh, no, she didn't get the cream cake.
You got the cream cake? Was that the one you picked? That's the one I picked.
That's the one that Finley picked. This is it, though. So we'll bust it out of here.
Daddy's going to bust it out. We're going to see it. This is too funny. This box is cute.
Here we go.
I'm excited.
This is so cool.
No way.
Yeah.
Here.
I got that. Wow.
Oh, it's an actual backpack?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Oh my god, this is literally so freaking cute. Oh my god, Finn. Look at this bag! No, mamas! This is literally the coolest bag ever. Finn.
That's your bag, Finn.
Finn, check it out. Strawberry shortcake. Sweet like you. Zoe. Look, mamas.
So shout out to the Zoy company.
Yeah, this is so
and we'll put a link in the description if you guys want to go check out their site. We always love the support from these companies. Obviously, it's beneficial for both of us, but support those who support you and check this out.
Dude, Finley's gonna be getting her book bag stolen from her when she's a kid.
I mean, honestly.
He's like, look how cool. Nobody's got that book bag.
Nobody would ever have that.
Not around here, mamas. You won't be in style.
So, what I was getting into is, so you're a pretty poetic person, right?
Yeah, I am.
Did you write anything down since? Do you want to just do anything? Just telling like how you feel, like really feel.
Like right now?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be poetry, obviously.
I mean,
But like, how do you feel right now?
the whole deal is poetic. Honestly, I feel amazing. I was kind of nervous while Finley was still in me, because I was like, how am I so happy? Because like I hear all these horror stories, and like I did get a lot of negative DMs or messages, comments from people like, wait until this, like even that some lady at our local Acme was questioning me, like I didn't know who she was, and she was like, oh, what are you having? I told her, and she was like, that sucks. Like just saying very negative things. I didn't have a negative experience with pregnancy at all. It was amazing. So I was a little nervous for after, because of what other people were trying to kind of like instill in me, or frighten me with. I don't know what you would even call it, but I'm just as happy as I was when I was pregnant, and I'm really, really grateful that that's my experience. Like, I'm even more happy, and like I can see that you've changed. It's like hard to explain. You just, like we were saying earlier, your whole perspective on life is different, because you're not just living for yourself, you're, living for this little human that is a piece of you and a piece of both of us. It's wild, because you just want to, for me, I'm gonna cry. You just look at your baby and she does look like me, so you just want to protect them and give them maybe something better than you had. Like, not saying that my childhood was good, but it's just like you just want to do everything right for them and right by them. And this is like the most crucial part, I feel like, because she is so, she's only 6 days old, So this is going to go by, and it has been going by really fast, these 6 days. But it's just, this is a crucial part, because like she's still developing everything in her body, and she's so tiny and she's helpless, really. Um, I don't know. I don't know. How do you feel?
I just feel like you don't really know what perfect means until you have your baby in your arms. Because nothing is perfect, but she is.
She just smiled.
She's absolutely perfect
She
to
really,
me.
yeah, she is like super perfect. It's wild.
Like I just, I feel so whole,
Yeah.
and I just never thought that I would feel that way because I have a really, really good life, and like I don't know, up until like we got our stride going, like together as a couple, I was searching for something for so long, like I don't know, a place in the world, but like I mean I haven't felt like that really since we've been doing our deal, but I was getting caught up in things that weren't as important and trying so hard like to keep up with the videos or come up with a new idea or just come up with something like searching for something, but I mean the something is not searchable. I don't know how to explain it. You don't need to search for anything as soon as you have a kid because you're whole. You become whole.
It is
And it's
wild.
just like nothing can ever replace, like my cat that died when I was younger. And it was like the most detrimental thing in the world, Bernie, my black and white cat. And like you can't replace that or Landis or Arlo. But Finley definitely helps those holes. I don't know. I guess it's just impossible to top having your own baby, having your own kid. There's nothing else in the world, no feeling that could ever compare, no experience that could ever compare. And here we are just sitting in our house, like, sitting in your house in Somers Point, New Jersey. Not that exciting. We did it every day for the last 5 years. Like, we've been here. There's other people, but it's just like that is bliss. That's you don't need to be anywhere or see anything or experience anything. That is truly just bliss, and that's heaven.
Yeah, like when you actually like your life, it's, I don't know. Because, like, I feel like people, I don't know. I don't feel like I was ever personally somebody who's like, not, at least not in the past 5 years, that was like searching for anything. Because I've always been really good with seeing what was, what's in front of me and being grateful for it and knowing that this is, you know, what I want. I mean, I didn't know I wanted this until now, but it's just wild. Like when we took a break, and when she woke up, I was breastfeeding her and I literally started tearing up because I was just so happy. Like everything is so good right now, and I I love our life. We love our life, and life does go by really, really fast. And I say this all the time, but I am just always extremely aware of that. Like throughout the day, I just sometimes I'll get like not like sad, but I'm just like, it sucks that eventually this has to end. And that I feel like really shows how much I've grown as just a person, because and how happy I genuinely am with our life, and I just wish it could stay like that. Obviously we have a long time, but you know that's just life.
I do just feel like I'm not an extremely insecure person, but I know everybody is insecure. So no matter what, no matter what they say, but it feels like Finley's birth has lifted the insecurities from me and lifted a weight off of my back or my chest so that I can truly breathe knowing that I'm successful because I'm happy. And happiness is success. So nothing can touch me. Nobody's comments, nothing that anybody says about me can have an effect anymore because I don't truly care anymore. I'm in a place of just, I'm all the way up.
He's all the way up, Finley. Your daddy's all the way up. I agree with that. I do.
Like you can, I never had $1 million, so I don't know how it feels. But you can have $1 million or the best job in the world and be at the top of the corporate ladder and making all this money. You could have everything material and all the people around you that want to be with you because you're successful and you're cool or you're famous. But none of that could ever and will ever compare. And I think people know this already. But none of that bullshit could ever compare to the way that we feel as a family right now. So, I don't know. The last 6 days is untoppable. And it is sad because everybody's life gets to a pinnacle and then eventually you have to come down the mountain. So,
we're just trying to
it's hard
enjoy it.
to believe that you could be so happy that you're scared to not be that happy in the future.
Yes. I'm agreeing with that, and I felt like this before Finley was born, but now it's like, it's a little heavier. So, but, I don't know, everything's just so perfect.
And that's it. We'll be doing more of these as the days go. And obviously, eventually, we want to get some people on here with us, different topics, whatnot. So we will be keeping up with the podcasts. But for now, we just want to thank all of our supporters and everybody that truly cares about us, who watches our videos. And it's really, really shown over the past week how many people care about us and reached out to us. It's in the thousands of people all over the world who watch us and care about our journey. And that means so much right now because we have so much support that it's easy to just focus on Finley and put everything else on the back burner, which is how it should be. But like we have so much support and our channel is doing so well. You know, our podcast channel hopefully does well. And we do have a decent amount of like sponsors and stuff at this point. You know, we're financially okay. I wouldn't say we're doing great because like we could be doing better financially, but we're in a position where like we can just focus the next 2 months, 3 months, however long we need just on Finley. And I guess that's it. I think, hold on. Did she just do one? Oh, no, she's not going to do this.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
No,
all right. That's it. Everybody.
It.
We'll see you guys in the next one. So that is the official Coffee Before Claims podcast number 2.
Was that just a fart? What was that? Oh, she might have just been 2. I'm not going to check this. Let me this table out. Let's go, girlfriend. Let's check your booty. Come on, girl. Let's get him.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.